It's all your fault is one of the most empowering and most brutally frustrating statements I think there is. And yet it's deeply true. But people want to abdicate their responsibility from where they're at in this life. But the reality is that, well, your whole life is your fault. And people want to argue the extremes whenever we talk about this. They're like, well, what about, poverty or war-torn or, abuse or things like that? If we're going to argue extremes, we can't have conversations about this. For the majority of people, your whole life is your fault because it is a reaction to your thoughts, habits, and actions. And if you don't like where you're at, recognizing that it is all your fault is also the most empowering option you could have. Because if it's all your fault, means it's all within your capacity to change it. But people don't want to admit that. People don't want to talk about things in that way. Like, as always, I come back to health and fitness. It's where everything I teach stems from. Health and fitness, exercise, being strong, fit, capable, these kinds of things. You have access to the tools. You have the capacity to do it. You are choosing not to. Therefore, it is your fault. But people want to outsource responsibility. They want to abdicate their responsibility to others and blame it on other people. We've stepped into a society where I don't have that thing that you have, therefore it's not healthy, you shouldn't have it, you cheated. Insert the validation to the life choices that you've made. If someone else has anything, from the body to the relationships to finances to whatever you want to list it as, that you desire, maybe instead of attacking that person, ask the question of what they have done differently to acquire said things. But people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to admit that the choices that they've made are wrong. And I get it. It's fucking hard. It was a bitter pill to swallow that I ended up in hospital with a heart condition was my fault. That I was the height of hypocrisy, a fat personal trainer. That was my fault. That the place I was in my life that I was not happy with, that I not only wasn't happy with, I fucking hated with a passion. That was all my fault. And it's hard. It's hard to admit fault. We've gotten to a point in society where we don't want to admit that we're wrong. That the choices that we made were wrong. But it's also the most empowering moment you can have, as I said. Because when you admit that everything that has transpired in your life is all your fault, the counter to that is, well, it's all within your control to change. If it's all your fault, well, you are then in control to make different choices. You are in control to make better life choices and to build a different life. That is empowering as all hell. That is the moment that everything in your life changes. Because as I said, your life is a direct reflection of your thoughts, habits, and actions. And people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about it being that simple. It is that simple. Pretty much, and again, as long as we don't get into the fucking stupid extremes, but pretty much, there is nothing in this life that you can't have. if you're willing to pay the price. Most people just aren't willing to pay the price. Most people's standards are so low and so soft that everything they have is built around staying comfortable. What is easiest in this moment? What is gentlest in this moment? What is going to soothe me in this moment? How can I sedate? How can I hide? How can I run away from, well, the things that are going to lead me towards the life that I actually want? As we speak about it all the time. The magic you are seeking is on the other side of the work that you're avoiding. Within reason, most people know what is required to get the life that they want. Hell, I have given it to you multiple times on this podcast. And I'll give it to you again right now. If you want to become a different man, and I do mean that, and people are like, oh, it's not that simple. No, it really fucking is. If you do this, I guarantee you that if you do this properly, you don't cheat, you don't lie to yourself, you don't skip, you don't skimp on it, you don't cut corners, I guarantee you that in 126 days, you will be a different human being. Unquestionably. You do these 5 things. You do a weighted workout, and like a proper fucking weighted workout. Not just like, oh, I went to the gym. Like, you left it all out there. Like we spoke the other day about effort, consistency, intensity. Leaving it all out there on the floor. But you do a proper weighted workout. You go for a weighted walk with at least 10% of your body weight. 45 minutes, 22 and a half minutes out, 22 and a half minutes back. As fast as you can. Once you reach 4.5 Ks in the 45 minutes, you increase the weight. If you eat an animal-based diet, you eat meat, eggs, fruit, sweet potato. That's it. Drink 4 liters of water a day, and you take a daily photo and either submit it to social media or someone to hold you accountable. You do those 5 things without fail, with intensity, with effort, with conviction, no mistakes, no sidesteps, no backpedals, no fluffing around. Every single day for 126 days, you will be a different human being. Unquestionably. You'll have mental toughness, you'll have fortitude, you'll be a man of your word, you'll have built discipline, you'll have built follow through, you will have built a great physique, you will have built yourself into a different human being. So there you are. There are the tools. I have just presented them to you on a silver platter, free of charge. You now have everything that you need to build the life that you want. Yeah, there'll be other things that come after this, but you have then just established the tools that will allow you to build the life that you want. You're welcome. But if you choose not to do anything with it now, it's your fault. And this is the thing, that people want validation. They want all these things. They're like, oh, well, isn't there a simpler way? Oh, can't you do it for me? Oh, isn't there something gentler, kinder, softer? No, it requires fucking work. It requires sacrifice. It requires getting uncomfortable, and deliberately so. Every single day. That is what is required. That is what is necessary. And we spoke about it the other day. Your standards should be so high that they are hard to keep. Your standards should be so high that there are days where you're like, geez, am I really this man? And the answer should always be a resounding fuck yes. But it should be hard. If your standards are so low that you can do it without thinking, without questioning, without anything, well, that's a fucking problem. And that's the issue. Like, there are many days where I don't like this. There are many days where I don't want to do this. There are many days where I would much rather shovel down an extra large pepperoni pizza with garlic aioli and a bottle of wine, maybe a couple of glasses of whiskey, pint of ice cream. Oh, sounds fucking perfect. But that's not the reality. That's not the man I am. That's not who I'm wanting to be and the things that I want out of my life. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, that would be much easier. But that's not going to get me anywhere. That's not going to build the life that I want. That is not going to take me to where I need to be. So I make better choices. I won't tolerate that version of me. My standards are higher than that, and so should yours. Your standards should scare you a little bit. Your dreams should scare you a little bit. And you should go, but I am willing to do whatever it takes to achieve those things. No questions asked. And that's how you build a different life. And that's how you train yourself into becoming the greatest version of yourself. Because you're willing to do what is necessary. You're willing to get uncomfortable. You're willing to recognize that the life that you have built that you don't like is all your fault. But it's also within your control to make different choices. Remember, it takes one moment of clarity, one choice made with full conviction, with all out conviction and promise in that moment, and just repeating that decision over and over and over again, following through over and over and over again. That is how you change your life. So, as always, if you are ready for that, if you're ready to become the greatest version of yourself, if you're ready to stop living the life that you hate and step into the life that you want, then comment Demanding Greatness, click the link in my bio, and let's transform your life together. And until then.